What's up guys, Edmund here of Arlistic Entertainment, and today I want to talk a little bit about the handheld gaming market and an article that I came across that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Let's get into it. So in case you guys aren't familiar with the whole thing that's going on with the gaming handhelds, we have the Xbox ROG Ally X that's getting ready to come out, and there's a lot of other rumors about the PlayStation 6 and how there's going to be a handheld that comes out with that as well. But there was an article that I read on August the 25th that stuck out to me, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about it, and maybe you guys can share your thoughts and I'll share my thoughts as well. So let's look into it. We're just going to read the title of it and we're going to talk. So it says, as Microsoft gets set to launch the Xbox ROG Ally, former PlayStation boss says one of the biggest mistakes they made with the PlayStation Vita was trying to bring the console experience to a handheld. Now, when I read that, personally, I felt that was an outright lie. And the reason why I say that is because when the Vita came out, you saw like these games that were supported. They had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out on it, Killzone came out on it, and it was a slew of really good games that came out on it. And from what I can see, the reason why it failed was because Sony decided to stop offering support for this handheld console. Had they continued to offer support for this console, then it would have been fine. And I look back at like how he said that PlayStation Vita, their biggest mistake was because they were trying to bring the console experience to a handheld. That's far from the truth. When you look at the PSP was a powerhouse. It could actually play movies, and it played discs as well. And that's something that the PS Vita couldn't do. The PS Vita didn't play movies like that, but the PSP had movies that you can buy and load the disc to watch those movies. It was a console experience all on its own, and the support for it was amazing. You had like God of War, Ghost of Sparta, and you had just a really good games on it. Even like with Resistance Retribution was a really good game. But when they came out with Resistance Burning Skies on the PlayStation Vita, that wasn't it. I was like, okay, I don't like this, because you really didn't have full control of the gameplay. The gameplay wasn't really full control, if you ask me. You had scenes where it just kind of did its own thing. It just took you to these different areas, and you just basically kind of shot here, shot there, but that was pretty much it. It wasn't as enjoyable as Resistance Retribution. But to say that there was a mistake because you was trying to bring a console experience to a handheld, like I say, that's a lie. The PSP was great. It had all sorts of things. It was a full-blown entertainment system, if you ask me, in the form of a handheld. They just stopped supporting that console, and that's the reason why it flopped. And I always say that whenever you're creating handhelds or games, nowadays they have ways that you can pull data. Why not review that data? See what players are liking and what they don't like. Not only review the data, but I always say like throw some surveys in people mailboxes every so often, just to see what they're thinking, and maybe ask them, what do you think of a new PlayStation handheld? See what they're thinking, and if one came out, what would you like to see? Because this is the only way that you're gonna actually win over your audience, by knowing what your audience want, not just always sticking to what the market says, because the market changes. The market never is the same. So asking questions, sending out surveys, that helps. Pulling data, research, that helps. Not saying that they don't, but if the former PlayStation boss is saying this, then obviously he didn't do much research behind previous products that they have had. Not only that, the Xbox is coming out with the Asus ROG Ally X, the Xbox version, and I'm interested in seeing how well this thing carries over. And like I say, it's all about what you put into these consoles that will determine whether or not someone's going to buy it. Me personally, I'm all for listening to the customers, because the customers are the ones that make the market. You can make the product, and if the product doesn't satisfy what the customer wants or needs, they're not going to buy it. Just like the Nintendo Switch did extremely well. Why? Because that's what the customers want. And their handheld was successful. Why? Because they gave the audience something for one, they never seen, and something that they wanted. Like me, I always wanted a hybrid console. That's the reason why I bought the Nintendo Switch, because I wanted it. And I thought that it will be more helpful to my lifestyle because I do travel. If they give the customers what they want, they won't have any issues. And that's all I'm saying. The handheld market can be great. It just depends on whether or not you're satisfying your customers, or whether or not you're giving them something that they've never seen before that they will gravitate towards. That's my whole thing. I feel like if they do these things, pull data, ask questions through surveys, then maybe they'll see an increase in numbers in revenue if they satisfy the customers. Because if I was to create a console, then I'm first off going to try to figure out what is it that people like. I'm going to probably, because I don't have a large network like they do, I'll go out on the streets and ask people questions to see what they'd like to see in the handheld gaming market. But these are just my thoughts. I would like to know what you guys think about this. I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check out the article, and you can let me know what you think about this. Do you think that the former PlayStation boss was wrong, like I do? If more support was offered for the PlayStation Vita, do you think it would have done better than what it did? Feel free to let me know in the comment section below. My name is Edmund of Realistic Entertainment. Until the next video, talk to you soon.